Hello friends, welcome back to our channel. Today we're sharing some fun and creative DIY projects that are perfect for the upcoming fall and Halloween season. From cozy autumn inspired centerpieces to a whimsical stackable pumpkin witch, plus a custom wood chessboard and so much more. You're going to love these ideas. Whether you're getting ready to host, decorate your home, or just want to add a little seasonal magic, these projects will bring all the cozy fall vibes and Halloween charm right into your space. So grab a warm drink, light a fall candle, and let's jump into the fun. First up, let's create some beautiful fall-inspired centerpieces. With warm tones, natural textures, and a touch of seasonal greenery, these ideas are perfect for your dining table, kitchen island, or entryway. For our first centerpiece idea, I'm using this vintage wood bowl I found while antique shopping last year. It's the perfect way to contain a centerpiece and allows for easy removal from a dining table or kitchen island. For an easy way to add volume, I'm using this maple leaf garland, and as always, I will link anything that I use in the description box below. To begin, just wrap the garland in a circle inside the bowl. The bowl I'm using is quite large, so keep that in mind when looking for a bowl to use. It doesn't have to be wood. You could use a ceramic bowl, paper mache, honestly, really anything that works with your decor. When creating an arrangement, I like to break it into 3 sections, or basically a triangle, to help as a guide for placing the larger scale picks and florals. For a more organic look and texture, I'm adding in these faux pine cones. I did pick these up this year from Hobby Lobby. You'll place these in between the first picks, again in a triangle. For some color, I'm adding in these blueberries, which I also bought this year from Hobby Lobby. They come on a long stem, and I just trimmed them off to create my own picks. It's a lot more cost effective to do it this way. Now, since these are more of a filler, I'm just placing them randomly throughout. You can use as little or as many as you want. For this next fall centerpiece, I will be using my very large dough bowl. This was purchased from Hobby Lobby, but we did give it a darker stain to help it blend better with our dining table. To help take up some of the space inside this bowl, I'm using some packing remnants. These also help to stabilize the glass pumpkins I'm going to be using for this arrangement. To cover the cardboard, I'm using some old black napkins that I had on hand. This just helps to camouflage the cardboard when looking through the glass pumpkins. This large brown glass pumpkin was from Target last year. I don't know if they still have them. I believe Hobby Lobby has one similar. The smaller gray pumpkin is from Hobby Lobby. I didn't like that they were at the same height, so I added some extra cardboard under the larger pumpkin to raise it up just a bit. To add some filler, I'm using this jasmine vine garland that I bought at Hobby Lobby last year to create a pretty look on my banister. I'll leave that short linked down below for you in case you're interested in learning how to make your own pretty garland on your banister. I love this garland. It has these long tendrils that hang down, and I use it in almost everything I create that has height. For some fall color, I'm adding in these maple leaf picks. When working with something that is oblong or rectangular, you should add 3 items to one side and 2 to the other. But here I'm choosing to add 1 on each end in opposite directions and 1 on each side, also pointing in opposite directions. Since I'm going to be using this arrangement on my dining table for the fall, I'm adding in orange and blue florals, which is a hint as to what direction I'm heading for my fall decorating this year. And because I didn't have enough of the blue mums, I decided to add in these blue berry picks. Autumn afternoons call for cozy indoor games, and nothing says elegance like a handcrafted chessboard. Whether you're a fan of the game or simply appreciate beautiful craftsmanship, we'll show you how to create a custom board that is both functional, decorative, and affordable. I've been wanting a beautiful wood chessboard for our home, but they can cost thousands of dollars. So Corey said he would create one for me, and as usual, he did not disappoint. We salvaged some beautiful red oak, and it made for a wonderful contrast with the lighter oak we already had on hand. Corey first cut down each piece of board, the red oak and the light oak to the proper size of 32 inches. For reference, our chessboard is 16 inches by 16 inches. He then ripped down each board to 2-inch size pieces to create the checkerboard pattern. To make sure each piece was the same height and width, he ran each of the pieces through a planer. He then glued each of the pieces together using wood glue, alternating dark and light boards. Corey then added clamps and allowed them to dry overnight. The next day he began cutting the board into 2-inch strips, which will later become the checkerboard pattern. He once again glued the pieces together after he had the desired pattern in place, which is 8 rows of each color block strip, clamped them and allowed to dry overnight. Since we wanted our board to look like the inspiration from Wayfair that cost $3,000, Corey created a base for our new board. This was done by creating 2 separate bases, one measuring 16 inches by 16 inches with the lighter wood, which he will later stain black for contrast, and the red oak, which measures 17.5 inches by 17.5 inches, which he left natural to complement the board itself. He also routed the edges of the frame and checkerboard. After everything had been made and glued together, Corey gave all the pieces a good sand using 180 grit and then finishing with 320 grit. Once the stain had dried, he glued the two bottom bases together before adding the checkerboard top. The entire board was given 3 coats of poly in semi-gloss, sanding in between coats. Our cost to make this chessboard was $35, a huge savings from the $3,000 board sold on Wayfair. Let's create a whimsical, stackable pumpkin witch that has just the right touch of mischief to add a festive touch to your entryway or to greet your trick-or-treaters on the front porch. She is a fun statement piece and definitely the star of our Halloween decor. To begin, you'll need a faux stackable pumpkin decor piece. This one is from At Home, or if you would prefer, you can buy real pumpkins that you can stack. I wanted her to be whimsical and fun, not scary, but you could certainly do whatever suits your Halloween decor. I first added this Robin Hood style cape to give her more personality. I tucked the front centerpieces up and under the neck to create more of an opening and also a collar for her cape. I wanted to give her an earthy witch look, like a forest witch, and add some flowers. I also used some raffia ribbon to add more texture and detail. I just looped the ribbon around about 8 to 10 times and then snipped each loop, tying the center off with a piece of the ribbon. I then added a flower to use as an embellishment for the neck of her cape. I used the wire from the flower to secure it around the fabric. I also added one of the blueberry stems to bring in that blue I've been adding for fall. I wanted to tie the look together and add the same embellishment to her hat using the raffia as a hat band by loosely wrapping it around quite a few times until I had the look I wanted. I apologize, as I started this process, I didn't realize it wasn't in frame. To finish it off, I just cut the ribbon and tucked it down into the hat band. For more charm and whimsy, I created another embellishment out of raffia loops and flowers and attached it to the hat band. Last, I added more blueberries to finish off the look. This hat does have elastic bands inside that I will tape down to the pumpkin with painter's tape to keep the hat secure. There is simply nothing better to set on your front porch for Halloween than pumpkins, but not just any pumpkins. We're going to create what I've lovingly dubbed the Scaredy pumpkins. You'll need 3 faux pumpkins that can be carved in at least 2 different sizes. I bought 2 smaller ones and 1 taller pumpkin. You'll need 3 sets of skeleton hands, and make sure they aren't too large for your pumpkins. Corey made quick work to draw some faces, giving each pumpkin a different look based on the hand representation. Now, I don't like scary, so we opted for faces that were more friendly than frightening. Once they were all carved, he began to add the hands based on each face. Also, you should think about your skeleton hand placement, where the thumb should be. Corey tried out the skeleton hand to be sure we had them right, and his frightened face was hilarious. He then used his fast-acting glue to adhere them to the pumpkins. I'm not someone who goes all out in decorating my home for Halloween, mostly because I don't like gore or the frightening things that can be represented with the day. But I do love the cute little trick-or-treaters and the festivities around the Halloween theme. So when I go to decorate, I usually do things minimally, and something that makes me think of Halloween are crows. Not scary crows, but the kind you see in cornfields sitting on top of scarecrows. For this centerpiece, I will be adding in some crows to bring a bit of that fun Halloween into our home. I'm once again using my large dough bowl because I love it and it provides a great base for arranging things. Because I wanted some different textures, only in the same colors, I opted for these fern leaves I had on hand from an arrangement I made last year in a footed bowl. If you'd like to see that arrangement, I'll leave that short linked below. To add in more texture, I used these sorghum picks from Hobby Lobby. They add a bit of height to the arrangement. I've had these raffia pumpkins for a few years, and I use them constantly in my arrangements for fall. Last but not least, the crows. These come in a pack from Amazon, and I will leave them linked below. Since forest witches and earthy things are the theme of my Halloween decorations this year, I thought a wreath inspired by the same elements would be perfect for our front door. I was browsing through Pinterest for ideas when I came across this one priced at $118. I thought, no, I can make this for way less. To begin, you'll need an 18-inch grapevine wreath. I usually pick mine up at Hobby Lobby for around $6. I tend to use the same one over and over. As long as you don't put hot glue on it, you can reuse them as needed. I also picked up these garlands for $7 a piece from Hobby Lobby. I thought they had that same kind of Spanish moss look that our inspiration wreath does. It's the kind that drapes from trees in the South. I attached them using floral wire. Now to give it volume, I just bunched up the garland in sections and then made sure to secure it. The second garland was more for that draping at the bottom, so I worked it in and then made sure to have some of it hanging from the bottom portion of the wreath. I attached 3 crows like our inspiration wreath. Once I had finished the wreath, I just didn't like how plain it seemed, so I decided to add more fall elements like these leaf picks I cut from a larger stem. These are from the at-home store. I also added more blue since that is the color I'm choosing to accent my decor. I think these additions really made more of an impact, still subtle but with a hint of color. The Etsy wreath started at $118, and my wreath cost me $25. I have plans to create a really festive entryway for Halloween in our home this year with a earthy witch theme, so stay tuned for that video. I had saved a picture of these cute little topiaries a couple years ago, and I always intended to make one, so this year I decided it would be a perfect addition for my theme. You'll need a terracotta pot or any type of your choice. To make the witch hat, you'll need a piece of cardboard cut into a circle with a hole in the center, a cone made from styrofoam, foil to create that bend in the witch hat, a branch forage from your yard or a wood dowel if you don't have access to a tree, a large bag of moss, and any embellishments you would like to add to the pot. I chose these darling handmade mushrooms made from clay. I will leave a link for them below. Now you could just wrap foil on the top to give it a bend, but I chose to wrap the entire hat in foil to give a thicker look, as well as adding some floppy parts to the brim of my hat, but it's really up to you. You'll want to secure the cardboard to the stick, so be generous with the hot glue. Also, I wanted to tilt the hat, so keep that in mind as you are gluing it in place. I added a foam brick to the pot and secured the stick with a generous amount of hot glue. Keep the foil in place and also to hide its shininess, Corey came up with the idea to wrap it all in black duct tape, and it worked perfectly. now it's time to create the topiary. Just glue, add moss, glue, add moss, and add more glue and more moss. This may take a bit, but put on a Dower Diaries playlist and enjoy the process. I decided to add some dried Spanish moss to the bottom for additional texture. I added just a tiny bit of green moss over that. Now it was time for the cute little mushrooms. I can't tell you how much I love these. Thanks so much for crafting along with us today. I hope these DIYs, from the cozy centerpieces to the charming pumpkin witch and scaredy pumpkins to even the custom chessboard, gave you lots of inspiration for the season. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that little bell so you don't miss more creative ideas coming your way. I'd love to know which project was your favorite. Drop it in the comments below. Until next time, wishing you a cozy fall and a festive Halloween.